I can go ahead and get started. I think everybody here pretty much knows the concept of this project, but basically we've been working over the past year and everybody's collaborated in some respect, and I'll show you the digital exhibition that we have up now. Can everyone see my screen okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So Kareem, in the digital show, the first few pieces are kind of you and Dave, what you were working on. And
yeah, I was there back in Minsk. Yeah, I was there this morning since I came back from my return.
Oh,
for charity.
Would you like to say anything about this piece, or more specifically Bible Boy? Because I know that's a character that you work with a lot.
Okay, okay, here goes. Okay, Bible Boy go raise charity for all the wrestling well, okay, let's get a little bit of recap. I'm gonna get in my head. Bible Boy, the great WWE superstar came, and while winner wrestling superstar Bravo Billy, all here to raise one of my hotkeys for raise charity for all for wrestling superstars in a fans for the perfect charity to join the wrestling show for charity.
So I should probably, I would like to add to what you just said, Kareem, you know, for others to sort of understand that doing portraits of wrestlers is actually sort of one of your favorite things that you like to do when you work on art. And it was sort of nice to see that we had talked about maybe for one of your pieces to put like a spin on it, like, you know, for like charity wrestling, because that's often like what was the case in the history of wrestling. And so what we were looking at was a piece that you specifically did for the Artisan Effort show. And then Dave felt inspired by that to develop a piece himself. And this is a detail.
And I've also got Dave's piece here too, but I don't want to cut you short either, Kareem, if there's anything else you'd like to mention. We also have Bronco Billy here too, your other portrait.
Oh, that's what I like the most since I met a Baltimore wrestling legend since December 2019, before 2020 COVID-19 hits in March. Because I've met since I met my Baltimore legend hero, for Wild Women Wrestling. I watched it 2 decades ago on Wild Women Wrestling at my birthplace in Hotel Essex between Jungle Girl against Baltimore's legend, plays a character Bronco Billy. She is the best one. And one day she'll be adopted into the Hall of Fame. For all the women legends of wrestling would be Bronco Billy, Jungle Girl, Lola Storm, Terry Go, the rest of Wild Women Wrestling will become Hall of Famers and legends, just like WWE Hall of Famers before WrestleMania.
Okay.
That's a perfect image ideas.
I'm so glad that you could meet them in person before everything went so crazy.
And I would also like to add that basically like the 2 pieces by Kareem that we were looking at, yeah, he did those at home during our Saturday Zoom sessions. And then, yeah, we picked it up from his house, framed them up for the show, and there they are.
Kareem, is there anything else you'd like to say about your paintings before we move on to Dave's?
Anything else?
Yeah.
If you have nothing else to say, that's okay too.
No, that's it for my perfect art piece of Fire Boys Wrestling for Charity and Hall of Famer Bronco Billy. I think that'd be it. I mean, there's nothing else.
All right.
Okay. Cool.
I think that was it.
Great. Thank you, Kareem. And this piece by Dave, like we were saying, was heavily inspired by Kareem's work with the wrestlers. And from my behind the scenes seat to this piece, I know that this process was something really new and experimental for you, Dave. And I don't know if you would like to maybe speak some more to that, because I know I'm not familiar with the way that you made this, so I don't expect anyone else to be.
Well, I want to talk about first, like how much I was influenced by Kareem's imagery and just the thinking. I'm like really, really fascinated by this Bible boy character in relationship to this very physical activity of professional wrestling. But can we go back to Kareem's work? Because I don't want to look at mine. I want to look at Kareem's, right? Go back to the bigger one. Yeah. The one before this. Yeah. So I really just so like kind of took in Kareem, like how you make your stadium, your wrestling ring and your stadium. I love both the wrestling ring and the stadium as much as the characters. And I really, this got into my head. I started really thinking about them and being influenced by them. So, and as you can see in the back, this is all study work I've done for this piece. It took me a long time to kind of get to what I was going to do with it. And like seeing this piece in person next to mine, like the way the kind of seats are in the back and the way my archways.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, this is like an audience come here to see the show.
Yeah, I almost, Kareem, I almost did another part to mine where I had an audience down below, and then it just wasn't going to work. Like it was starting to get so much. So maybe the next one I'll put an audience in. I'll put the audience in the seats. Because I love the way the space between the wrestling ring and the audiences. I love that space. So yeah, and I did I'm doing a process that involves it involves monoprinting. This is my process. These are monoprints. Like these are monoprints on mulberry paper, very thin paper, and then those monoprints I adhere to acrylic poured epoxy resin. This is poured epoxy resin. So they're like images on epoxy resin, and they have this like translucent kind of like activity to them. They're really, I hardly know any other artists who are working in these mediums of monoprint on epoxy resin. So this may be a first for Make Studio as far as I'm concerned. And so you can go back to my piece now, although I want to still stick with Kareem's. But so I was thematically also thinking about wrestling, and I don't know where it came to me, like this idea of Jacob, the Old Testament story of Jacob wrestling the angel. So that's the mythic kind of underpinning of this. And it relates to previous work I've done. I've done work from Homer, and I've done other work out of the Old Testament in my previous work. And then using this and trying to develop this ring, like this kind of spiritual battle ring, was really hard. I struggled with this a lot. And I just want to say, Chloe, you're the one who recognized the cape as One Punch Man's cape from yeah, Chloe.
She was.
Yeah. I can't see you. That made me so happy. So I'm also influenced by anime.
Snuck it in there.
Huh?
I said, I can't believe you snuck it in there so subtly.
It's pretty good, right?
Perfect idea. That's my ultimate brilliant idea. Inside my head, put perfect image on my art picture.
So anyway, yeah, Kareem. Also, like Kareem, like the capes, like really influenced me. Your capes, like the capes on everybody. I love capes on people. It makes me really, really happy. Like Bible Boy's cape. So anyway, yeah, the influences are Old Testament, Kareem, Old Testament, professional wrestling, and One Punch Man, which is an anime for people who don't know that anime. So,
well, it's brilliant.
What's that?
Wow, that's
Brilliant.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Yeah. So I want to like Kareem, I want to thank you because I think this like opened up a whole new idea in my work for me. It's like really, really beautiful. And I'm like, thank you for collaborating with me. It's like made me super happy. I have like all this new work I'm thinking about now. And also like I was really pushed to do this work that I've never done before. And this isn't a light box. If you go to see this in person, if you haven't seen it, this it's in a light box. It's like 3 inches wide and it glows, right? So there's light coming out of this.
Doesn't it flash too? Whenever you strobe it,
Yeah, I can make it flash.
She's like, oh, that makes me dizzy. Don't do that.
Yeah, it'll flash. Well, they're just fairy lights, like Christmas lights kind of thing inside of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. It was really hard to do. It was really a struggle to work at this size in epoxy resin because this sheet's like, what is it, like 25 inches or so? But it was really, really satisfying, like the whole process of it. So thank you, Kareem. And thank you, Amanda, for dragging me into this because it was worth it. It's really, really
my
good.
pleasure, my honor.
Thank you, Kareem.
I'm so glad that the two of you worked together. I couldn't think of a more perfect pairing except maybe Chloe and Dasha. But yeah, I'm very, happy about what you both turned out. And I think that the way that you included this cape was pretty clever because it does double as the wings as well. So if you don't know One Punch Man, you're no wiser. It's fine. But thank you both for sharing some about what the experience was like for you. And I don't think that Gemma's here, but we can say a little bit about her involvement. Is she here? No.
She may pop on. She was a little hesitant of what her plans were, but
Okay.
we may get her. So if we want to go
Sure.
to Victoria first, and
Yeah, we can go because her and Victoria in the show are presented together. They both have a similar interest in patterns and like specifically repetition. And so these two pieces by Gemma are seated on either side of Victoria's larger painting, which I guess we can go to now. And this piece is like 4 canvases together to make one big one. And she actually went through and embroidered these nice little patterns in. And Victoria, I'm not sure if you want to say anything specific about what this piece was like for you. I know you made this, I think last year.
Yes.
It was for a class, right?
Yes, it was for an independent sophomore level painting class. The prompt, there was kind of a couple prompts given at the beginning of the semester to generate some ideas and thinking for the remainder of the semester. So the prompt here was the senses, the 5 senses. You could choose one of them, all of them kind of respond to that. So I chose the sense of touch. And I chose that because I was really interested in combining kind of a mixed media element to my paintings. So in the embroidery, that tactile quality and the delicacy was something that I had a lot of fun experimenting with. It was really therapeutic in a way. And I'm really interested in my work in figurative work and the landscape, very representational forms. So it was fun to kind of abstract some of these the imagery that you see here and kind of intertwine it together with the embroidery.
Yeah, I think that you and Gemma definitely share that interest just based on your line work alone. But I know that you also played around with the embroidery even further, probably the furthest I've ever seen you push it with the doll environment. And I think that might be coming up as one of the next ones we have. Yeah. I would love.
we have Janelle trying to get in. Sorry, Janelle might be in our waiting room. She just emailed me that she was coming on.
I don't see her.
Hey. Everyone was having trouble. Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Kareem.
Don't mention it.
Well, since I can't see Janelle in the waiting room, I
Okay,
don't know.
I'm gonna touch base with her again.
Thank you, Terry,
She
for
should have everything now.
okay. But Victoria, I would love to hear what your experience was like working so sculpturally and with the embroidery and all of that. It seems like you took all of those interests in sensation and just really pushed it. And I just want to know, how did that feel for you? And like, is there anything you want to preserve from this for your future work?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, when we were just kind of introducing ourselves in our Saturday group sessions, I really loved seeing Janelle's different dolls, and she would have such a high put out rate and have all these new different dolls every week. And she would photograph them in these different environmental settings, ones that she would create herself, typically with kind of ready-made objects, flowers, like fake flowers, different cloths. And I thought that was really interesting. And I know she was a fan of different TV shows that have like a fantastical kind of undertone to them. And I'm really interested in depicting the figure in environments, but more two-dimensionally. So I thought that this would be a really fun and exciting challenge. I'm a painting major, so I hardly ever work sculpturally. So I was kind of reaching back to these old processes and techniques that I've done even back in high school or freshman year when I was experimenting with different things. So I was making like the trees and the environment out of cardboard, painting on that, knitting things, even getting really into the softness of that. And it was really exciting to kind of integrate Janelle's dolls literally, like physically sitting in the environment, and also painting it, some of her different dolls to represent them as well. So there was a number of different people in this environment to live in.
Yeah, could you actually speak about that decision to make the portraits on either side? Because I know that was something you chose to do like pretty close to
Yeah.
off work. So what was the reason for that? I love it.
Yeah. So I was really interested in kind of the structure of the box that I used. I wasn't sure if I'd want to just cut off all of the panels and have it just as the diorama, or if I wanted to expand upon those panels and add more elements to it. And I thought I really wanted Janelle's voice to be heard as much as possible in this artwork of mine, because I had been working on it for so long. I didn't want my voice to overpower kind of the main character and the main event of it. So I thought that I would go through the images that we've been posting every week, and I saw 2 of her dolls that I thought would fit really nicely in it. And it also has this kind of altarpiece structure to it, which I thought was a fun thing to play around with, and something that I'm definitely interested in looking into the future with my artwork, whether even if it is 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional.
Oh, I love that. And I love that sentiment too. Janelle, I see that you made it in here. How do you feel about how this piece turned out, and how was it working with Victoria on it? Can you hear me okay? I can't see Janelle, so I'm not sure if she can hear me. Well, in that
There she
Can you hear
is.
us now, Janelle?
I can ask her.
She's unmuted.
It might be internet issues. I don't know. Zoom is very hit or miss. I can move to the next few pieces for now. If I don't want to skip past her, but we'll get to some more of her dolls, I think, soon too. So I can just move for now. But her dolls were kind of the piece de resistance for most of the collaborations, I think. Setting up these environments for them was something that a lot of the MICA artists had so much fun playing around with. And Aimee, who is not here today, she made this horse here too to accompany them. And Josh is the sculptor behind this larger steel cube that they're all resting on. And so I'm gonna pick on you, Josh, a little bit. What was it like having all of these things kind of integrated into this sculpture that you were making? Like, do you feel like the concepts kind of came together organically, or I don't know, were you like, you had an intention behind making these kind of cube series? So I'm just wondering how it was to kind of merge your styles together.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was kind of weird, you know, because we didn't like we've just been working in Zoom and we haven't been physical, and like, you know, we weren't able to like see the work as we worked on it with each other in person. So definitely, like, I didn't even see it all really come together until the day of the show. But I think it worked really well, and I think it worked into some of like this weird environment works into some of the themes I'm working through in my own work and practice, with kind of bridging these worlds of like expected and unexpected. You know, it just kind of like, my piece is very like gray and dull, and it really brings a pop of color and liveliness to the work that wasn't really in it before. So I really appreciated that.
I totally agree. Janelle's dolls just really gave a pop of color to everything. Do you think that you could maybe speak a little bit more about your cube series? Because I'm gonna go into your dodecahedron next, and I understand where you're going with that, but maybe just for everybody else, you know, talk about this research process for you and what it means.
Yeah, so the cube series, or like I've been calling them broken cubes recently, is this project I've been working on for, I guess, coming up on a year now, like end of spring semester. And it's based on this algorithm in a 3D program that I wrote, which like adds and subtracts shapes, essentially. You can just think about it like that. It has a cube and then it subtracts other shapes out of it. So I've been working, I just generated like hundreds of these shapes. So I've been working through them and fabricating them in different ways. So some of them are, like one of them obviously is this big cube that I built like this. I've also like drawn some of them just like 2D, cast in concrete, built smaller with steel. So I've been working through these, like fabricating them in different ways and looking at them in different contexts. And this is part of that. And yeah, it's playing with like the expected versus the unexpected, kind of these two different spaces of like real and imagined. And I really, in this version of it, really kind of indulged this idea of the, like really just showing the work for what it is. Like you can see all the fasteners, you can see how it's put together. It's very like visually accessible for how the work is made and how it's put together. And I actually I had some feedback outside of this group that kind of pushed me in that direction, but what really hit it was actually, it wasn't even for my piece, it was a comment that Dave made about Victoria's piece when we were discussing like her diorama, and you know, she was like doing paintings and doing all these things, and Dave had encouraged her to like not try to get too far away from the cardboard box. Like you don't have to like cover it up or pretend it's not a cardboard box. Like that's what it is. That's what the material is. There's a material intelligence to that, and just kind of let that shine through. So I kind of stealing a piece of advice for Victoria, but that kind of really helped me in my development of this work. So,
Oh no,
yeah.
I'm so glad. That's kind of the point. I mean, we were all just kind of sharing one stream of consciousness together for a long period of time. And would you say, I mean, that's good to hear that that was really helpful to you. And would you say that deferring a semester in the beginning of working for this, that was like a relief, or like a different way of engaging in critiques without like school to be there?
Yeah, it is. It's very different. One thing everyone told me was going to happen, and with deferring a semester and like just when you graduate and you leave school, is that like it's going to be hard to like maintain making the same level of work because you don't have that structure of like assignment and like accountability and checking in every week. So it definitely was different, but I'm really appreciative like for this group and for this experience that you put together, Amanda, because it did give me some structure and gave me some like feeling of accountability. Like it was always in my head, like, oh, I know Saturday's coming. I know I gotta have something to show because Amanda's gonna like, you know, ask what's up, ask what I've been working on. So, you know, that did help me like keep pushing forward and keep going with the work. And I mean, not having like other classes or assignments on my semester off definitely did let me focus on one thing for longer in a way that I'm not used to. I've been basically working on this project for a year now, and I've just like incorporated it into my other classes this semester. So I've been a little more focused, which I really appreciate.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad. The pieces turned out perfect.
Thank you.
Janelle, I don't know if you can hear me now, but I have your dolls pulled up and I'd love to ask you about them.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Is there anything that you would like to say before I ask you any questions about your dolls? It's okay if not.
I don't think I have anything to say right now.
Well, I think like what Victoria was saying before about how you had like so much detail packed into these dolls and so much care that you put into making them. How is it for you, like work speed wise? Like you bang these out pretty quick from what I remember from the meetings. What's your process like, and how did it feel integrating that into other pieces in the show?
It felt pretty good. Like after like making the dolls, like I just felt like this like really nice, like this is finished. I get to like put these in the show now so people can enjoy seeing.
How did it feel to
stuff?
I noticed that you also pulled like Vision and Marvel and other characters. Is there something that you really consistently inspiration from, like a favorite show or favorite character?
I like pulling out like anime characters and different other characters because like they just like inspire me to do like my own type of character and stuff. Since me as an artist, I like making my own characters or pulling out a character that like I really like and that inspires me, and it's like, oh, this is really nice. Like I like this character, so I get to do this one.
Yeah, you can totally see that in the work too. I mean, looking at these up close and in person, especially all of the details that I just don't even notice over Zoom, is just mind blowing to me. And working with, oh, you're welcome, of course. But how is it working with the environment? Like, did that give you maybe any ideas for ways that you want to set up the environment in the future? Like for your
like it was very fun working with her and picturing like what like settings to like put them in and stuff.
Cool. You guys made some really cool work together. I'm really glad that it was the two of you together.
Thank you, me too. Super fun.
And this piece, Aimee is not here, but this is Amy's horse, and I was hoping she would be here so I could ask her about it, but it's okay. And she, from what
she apparently is at the beach.
Yeah, that's a good idea right now, honestly. I'm jealous.
Me too.
But she made this
because she sent me a picture this morning that she's at the beach. I'm like,
oh my gosh, so jealous. But this horse, from what I recall, when she was working on it, she made this out of like the scraps of fabric that she normally didn't use and was really playing with different textures. And I think that complemented your dolls so well, especially the way that you do the textures in the hair and in the clothing. I'm just really glad the two of you were able to do that together, even though Amy's not here to talk about it, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Dasha, I know you're looking forward to that. Would you like to say anything about your iconic bears before I ask you any questions?
So, yes, I'm inspired by bears, black bears, brown bears, rainbow bears, gummy bears. Bears are wonderful. So do you mind going back to the first
Of course.
one of my bears? This one. So I basically do different scenes with my bears. Sometimes they're the random bear characters, sometimes they're family bears. Like I'm the orange bear, the little white bear is Christmas Winterberry, and the yellow bear is Lala. Lala here.
Oh, nice.
This is the pink bear is Macy Moo. Lala's BFF. This is Auntie. Here's the cupcakes for sale. I just wanted the bears to just do something cute and have this like cupcake shop going on. And I just wanted them to be a little too short for the counters to add to the cuteness. And be a little too short to get up on the chairs.
I love
this one over here, the purple one. She's right at eye level with the countertop. She's trying to get into the high chair, trying to get to the stool chair, and she's having a bit of trouble. Even though after she put a cupcake on there, she really had to reach over counter cupcake on the counter. So the counters are a little too big for the bears, even for the staff in the background.
Yeah, you can see everything else in scale to them is just so much bigger. It's like they're in a giant dollhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the way you break up your scenes too, like this dash down here in the center, like the way comics.
The lightning bolt dash is because they're on the phone with each other. Then so Macy Moo, she's a YouTuber. She's a YouTuber bear and she's at VidCon right now.
Oh my gosh.
She's at VidCon. And the whole
Oh, I just love that.
Yeah.
So with you and Chloe, that was something that that happened right away. You knew from the beginning you wanted to work with Chloe.
I did. I know.
How was it to work with her on this Pumpkin Princess?
It was wonderful. I mean, I chose her because she was like absolutely glowing and she was so happy to do this. And I was like, oh, I'll choose you. Yeah, I'm glad I did. She's been wonderful to work with.
Sasha's fully making me tear up right now.
Dasha, I will go to
I
your
really like the bears. They're just so cute.
I know.
Thank you.
They're so tiny too.
You're welcome.
Dasha, before I get into the Pumpkin Princess fabric book cover, do you want to say anything about bears? They're just like us.
So these are bears just going about their daily lives. And these bear children are going to school, country school. And the boys over here looking at Taya. They're not noticing her just yet. But here's Taya with her growingness. Nice tone. Here's the boys tossing a baseball in the air. And here's the bears at the playground. And this is I sometimes do locations where I'm really that's around me. So this is actually the park that's at the pool at my place. So this is the swimming pool and the basketball court. And here's a picture of Aimee and me. And this time I'm driving the car, not Aimee. We're having Burger King. We stopped at Burger King and here's my new car, and we're like, I have a GPS right there, and like, woo! I have a big funny smile on my face, and Amy's like, yee!
Your partner in crime.
Partner in crime, yeah. She's my BFF.
She is. I remember when I interned there, you two were inseparable. Love it.
Double trouble.
Yeah.
Here's some bears at the playground. And yep, there's bears at the playground. They're at the park on the playground.
Yeah.
And I'm watching Kristen Swinbury play with her friends. This is Kristen Swinbury's play date. This is our with her play dates. She's playing with her friends.
I love the way you set these environments, Dasha. This composition is just really nice, the way that you've compressed everything.
Thank you. I had a hard time with the playground, but that sort of came together as I was doing it. So
yeah, I would have had a hard time with that. It's got so much going on, but I think that especially the colors that you picked really separate everything nicely.
Yeah, I would first draw, and then I like with pencil, then I'd ink everything in with Sharpie. And inking it in with Sharpie is like difficult, and then I had to erase all the pencil lines underneath the big eraser, and then I go in with the color, and then I put water over it, just to brush water on it and blot it so it looks like watercolor and gives it texture and stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting because I always would think at first that you're working in watercolor for sure, but it's actually marker that you get really wet on the paper.
Yeah.
And that's
This
awesome.
is where Kristen Swinbury and her friends go to school.
Oh, okay.
School, so.
Wow.
Do you see the hallway? Do you see the inside of the school? There's actually a hallway going in there.
Yeah.
You actually see inside the school.
I love the way.
I got that one.
Yeah.
That perspective is right on.
Thanks.
And what you worked on with Chloe very closely was Pumpkin Princess, which I don't know if you want to say anything about that story itself. You can.
Yeah. So like, me and Chloe were thinking of, we had to think of something to do. Is how we do like? Chloe said, "Well, we do fairy tale. Let's make up our own fairy tale." I said, "I know. Let's do the Pumpkin Princess, Adventures of Pumpkin Princess." So that night, I sort of put together like an outline and a plot, and I sort of sketched it all out. Then that night, I just got my coffee, got my YouTube, got my candy, and I just cracked down that night and just did the whole comic book in one night. At the end of the morning, beginning of the morning, when the sun came up, I was like, "Oh, I'm done." Like, this feels so good to complete a book.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of it.
As you should be. It turned out amazing. If you can see this in person, I believe the book is there, but yeah, you developed the whole plot line and the whole structure of the story so fast. And how did it feel to see all of your characters in fabric form, like in Chloe's kind of style?
I loved it. I loved it. She did a great job.
The one on the bottom, I believe, is actually supposed to be Dasha, right, Chloe?
Yep.
I'm holding a donut, right?
Yeah.
Dasha
That's me,
always
right?
coming to our Saturday meetings with a snack of some kind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Chloe, I guess I could also transition a little bit to you since this piece is centered on your process. What was it like to work on this story with Dasha?
It was such a joy. Dasha's a ray of sunshine, and I always love her bear stories so much. They make me laugh. I feel like Dasha's humor is so good, and the bears are like a peek into it.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting process because usually the way I work when I make fabric pieces is I'll like draw or sketch out the design and then use that paper drawing and turn it into the pieces that I use to cut out the fabric. I'll like trace the paper pieces onto the fabric. And I was so used to doing it with my own drawings, but it was a whole new adventure to do someone else's drawings. And I just wanted to do Dasha's bears justice because their design is it's very specific to them. And that's like Dasha's handwork and craftsmanship in those drawings. So I just wanted to capture that as best I could in fabric. I know fabric does its own thing sometimes, and everybody was going to turn out a little different.
Oh, Chloe, can I ask a question? Was this, I remember like when these were in process, how much I love the line work, like the thread work, and I continue to love it now. Was that like, is that like a new thing, that kind of line work, that like edge work with the thread?
Yeah, that was totally different. Usually my pieces, the shapes are, depending on the colors and the fabric types, they kind of define their own form, but the bears were different. And then I also wanted to keep that hand-drawn look that is very reminiscent of Dasha's bears. So it was, yeah, got to practice my embroidery a lot.
I want to say, there's like a real kind of beauty and elegance to that edge that you just captured. It's like they were drawn. It's remarkable. Even in person, they feel like that. There's a kind of drawn nature to these. It's just like right on. It's kind of remarkable. I'm amazed by them. So it's great to see them again.
Thank you so much, Dave. That's what I was going for.
You nailed it. And is that something that you think you'd like to carry into future projects in fabric?
Absolutely. One of the reasons I got into making fabric work the way I did was I was really interested in that process of translating like an illustration or a 2D drawing into fabric. And now this embroidery taught me a whole new way to do it.
Oh, I'm so glad. It worked out perfectly. And we have your wood wide web piece here too. It might be next. Oh no. This though.
There we go. Yeah.
I want to jump back to Dasha for a second because I really am interested. For those of you that weren't able to see this in person, this is an interactive portion of the exhibit where people are allowed to join in on what Chloe is do and kind of help color in the stories and collaborate with Dasha. Dasha, how did it feel to see people coming up to your comics and just drawing like whatever they wanted over top of them?
I felt like they were my friends supporting me, and they really cared about me when they colored my things. It really showed how much they care about me, how much they support me, and it was just great to feel that. And sometimes I feel alone and isolated, but I see this and I know that I have friends who can't really care about me.
I'm so glad. And it's true, we do. Your style is so prolific in this whole project. I mean, the lettering in BIARTISAN Effort itself is Dasha's lettering. I am so proud of what you've developed throughout this whole thing.
I did those other books in the night too.
Yeah.
Each book one night. That was one night. That was one night, and that was another night.
Oh my gosh! If I had half of your productivity.
Well, coffee helps.
Yeah, definitely.
And watching YouTube too. I'd be listening to YouTube, doing these things, and like about 3 a.m. in the morning, I have to take a break to eat a snack or something, or because then I go back at it.
You gotta get some sleep too.
At that point, I sleep during the day the next day.
Oh, I see.
Because I was like, I had a blood test scheduled the next day after I did this, and like, what were you doing up? You look tired. Like, I was making a comic book. What do you do? I do comic books. Okay. Like, yeah.
That's a good reason to be tired.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad that you enjoyed that, though. I appreciate you letting people come in and color it.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
I'm gonna keep going, but I'm really glad to hear that. And Chloe's Wood Wide Web piece. Chloe, I think that you can talk about this better than I can. Do you want to tell people what's going on here?
Yeah, sure. I trust you to talk about it any day. So since I'm here. So this is generally the kind of work I do when I'm not working on Dasha's bears. I'm very interested. I do pretty similar to Dasha. Actually, I am inspired by animals. I am inspired by nature. And I really enjoy taking the things I've learned, like very specifically these really crazy phenomenons that happen in nature when animals and plants or plants form these relationships with each other. And I like to turn them into these fun little child drawings because I want to instill like more awareness for the environment and just more fascination with it. And I want everybody to feel that like inner child inside the way I do. So with this piece specifically, I got really into researching mushrooms and fungi over the summer. And one of the most interesting things I learned was in forests or areas where the fungi will create very, very elaborate root systems underground. And these root systems literally talk to each other. They send like little electrical pulses around, kind of similar to how the neurons in our brains fire when we're thinking. And I just thought that was crazy because science has not fully understood what mushrooms and fungi are, like if they can classify as living things or what. So I really enjoyed that concept. So I made this piece because I was imagining, oh, what is it like down there with those root systems talking to each other and being all tangled up? It's probably very crowded and it's probably pretty loud, but hopefully everybody's having a good time. So that's this
like
piece
they
is
are.
important. Yeah.
I remember at some point in mixed studio, I did this series with raccoons.
Oh I don't know if I remember that one. I wish I could see it.
I didn't do it for this one. It was a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
A long time ago.
I'll have to look through the website, see if I can find it.
It's not on this panel, no.
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 I can keep the sharing screen on and just go through, but I haven't been checking the chat at all. I don't know if anyone else has questions.
Just a lot of love and appreciation in the chat.
Oh, yeah. If anyone,
I just want to say that this was one of the most fun shows I've installed in a while because, you know, there was just so much room and space to create a really interesting narrative thanks to everybody's work. And it was like, I thought it was really the perfect amount of work, and the show is really breathing, and the pieces are sort of, you know, they're interacting with each other, and it's been so fun to install. That's all I can say about it at this point.
I'm so glad. It was a joy to be able to work with everyone. This is such a great group. I don't know what I'm gonna do when we stop meeting every week.
I know, like I was just like talking about, like in the middle of everything that is going on and all the stress that MICA students and faculty are underneath, right? That I looked forward to this every week. I really did. It was like, oh, that's my Saturday thing. And everybody knew it. It's like, no, that's Dave's Saturday thing that he does, right? And it's just like, it's been wonderful. It's been like really, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't know, like other MICA people, it's like fresh thought air in our heads. Like it's not under this kind of academic cover of it. So it's really been fun. It's really been refreshing. And just, I've learned so much too, like doing this process. I've got new work to work on now, you know? So that's been really great. Who knew, right? It's like, wow,
And it's also been fun being inspired by people who make such different work from one another, because typically if I'm in a painting class, I'm surrounded by other painters, but here I'm seeing Josh's sculptural work and Chloe's very tactile work and Dasha's more like illustrative work. So that's been really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. This reminds me of like something Dave talked about when we were at the opening. I mean, and Dave, you can certainly talk about it more because these are your words, not mine. But you did talk a lot about how when we look at artwork, we should focus on the materials more and like the materiality. I feel like this exhibit and this collaboration was a really nice breath of fresh air to work with other people, and you kind of got to step back and look at the materials you used more than the concept of the piece. I do feel like at MICA, there's a lot of emphasis on concept behind art, which is cool, great. But sometimes it's nice to take a break and just work with the materials themselves.
Also, can I just I'll speak for myself, right? Like, come on, Dave, let's go, right? It's like all you make studio artists, like so much production. It's like, wow. All right, come on, Dave, let's go. Like, make the work, you know? It's been really inspiring that way too. You know, just to see like the output as well. So yeah, made me like little fire, you know. It's like, come on, make more work, here we go, you know. It's been really good. It's also like, right, it's like I think Chloe, it pushed me into working in a way I've never built what I built for this. I've never done this before. Like, I've never built a thing like that before. It's like, wow, you know. And you know, it's like we got to do this all the time, I think.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Do it again next year.
There's an idea.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Have an anniversary show for this.
Well, I'll definitely miss you, MICA, guys.
I know. Well, I'm not.
Miss you guys.
I won't close the Padlet. If you still want to use the Padlet to talk and share stuff, you are more than welcome.
Yay.
I'll definitely miss seeing you.
I know. I'm going to stop sharing now because we just have a couple minutes. But no, well, over the whole year we've been working over Padlet, and yeah, I will leave that open. Like, there's no reason to. I think a lot of really great friendships have been started through this, and I'm really happy to see that. And if there's anything anyone else would like to say, I think it's about time. But
well, I want to make a quick shout out to everybody at Make Studio, to Terry and Stefan for like all your support in doing this. So big shout out to you guys. Thank you for making this possible, despite injury. You know?
Nothing holds us back.
Wave is fun.
Definitely. This has been such a joy. I always enjoy anything involving Make Studio. It's just such a great group. You guys rock. This is really great.
I'm always glad to hear that. Yeah. And I also just wanted to say thanks to everyone who came to the artist talk and participated. It's sort of nice to have these things in addition to just a show.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you everybody for talking about your work and hanging out with us on a Saturday.
Thanks.
Keep in touch with Padlet with you.
Yes. Yeah. It's not over.
Are we having a deinstall show? Is that what we're gonna do?
We have one more thing happening, which is the
closing workshop.
The workshop, the date of which and time you can actually see on the second slide, I think, or the first slide of the exhibition. So that will be the next thing in the context of BIARTISAN effort.
All right. I don't know about this. What is this? I missed it.
The closing workshop. So the closing workshop will be on the 22nd, and that'll just be something super fun and chill. Like we'll just look through the work, and everybody will make something simple, like pen and paper, just in your favorite artist style from the show.
All right.
Like for me personally, I've got an eye on Dasha's bears, but the wrestlers are really intriguing too. So that was what I had envisioned for that, and that will be happening towards the end of the month.
Cool.
Thank you guys.
My birthday's on the 10th.
What'd you say?
My
Birthday.
birthday's April. My birthday's May 10th.
Oh my god.
My birthday's May 10th.
Dasha. Yay.
Yay.
Happy early birthday.
Yay.
Birthday with a
Happy
carved out
birthday.
ice cream cake.
Yeah.
Ice cream cake, yeah. I'm going to the beach on my birthday.
Oh yeah.
Ew.
That was fun.
Taco Bell.
Oh yeah.
Taco Bell.
You got to.
And
All right.
presents for me.
Yeah.
We have come to the time, the crucial time. Again, thanks everyone, and I hope to see some of you at the workshop.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Thank you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Bye.